Every year, thousands of people move to Los Angeles to follow their dreams. Well, in the summer of 1923, two brothers came to Los Angeles with a big idea. So big, it would outgrow the city that they lived in. And it all started right here on a bench in Griffith Park in front of this merry-go-round. On today's episode, Walt Disney's Disneyland. In the summer of 1923, equal business partners and brothers, Walt and Roy Disney, moved into their aunt and uncle's Los Feliz home in Los Angeles. They were charged $5 a week for rent and $1 a week to use the garage as their animation studio. On October 16, 1923, Walt and Roy signed a deal with New York distributor Margaret J. Winkler for their series Alice Comedies, where a live-action child named Alice has adventures with animated characters in an animated land. When the deal was signed, Roy requested they change their name from Disney Brothers Studios to the Walt Disney Studio. In 1927, Walt created Oswald the Lucky Rabbit and made 26 cartoons before Winkler informed Walt that Disney didn't own the rights to the cartoon. Winkler did. Winkler had hired nearly all of Walt's animators and wanted to make the cartoon without Disney. It was then Walt vowed to never overlook the details in a contract and always make sure he owned his material. As time went on, Disney's success took off, and he won the Academy Award for Best Animated Short in 1932 and every year after for the rest of the decade. Walt Disney had achieved a lot, but he was never satisfied and always looking to expand the imagination. He took his children to the zoo and parks, but always ended up sitting on a bench while the kids had fun. Well, it was on that bench he decided to create a place where children and their parents could enjoy equally. And so, Disneyland was born. Step inside of Disneyland and you might notice elements of time that anchor the Disney legacy. I may be as bold to say humanity will be studying him thousands of years from now. What that might look like, I can only imagine. So I'm here at Carthay's Circle Lounge and Restaurant. And what this is a place in California, Adventureland, that Walt wanted to have pay tribute to the theater, Carthay's Circle, that debuted his very first animated feature film, which was Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs in 1937. Now, unfortunately, the actual Carthay Circle Theater was demolished in the 60s, the late 60s. But you can still go inside California Adventureland, get a great drink and a nice bite, and experience what Disney experienced in 37 when Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs premiered. I personally have a heart filled with nostalgia, and I'm always drawn right into Fantasyland, where my love of miniatures comes alive in one of Disneyland's oldest rides. Since opening day, Peter Pan's flight lets you fly above England to Neverland, just like Peter Pan. On my recent visit, I noticed in the line that there are motifs of the story carved into the storybook architecture of the ride itself. This was exciting, and I wondered how many people noticed while waiting in what turned out to be the longest line of the day. Disneyland is a place of magic, adventure, and yes, happiness. But it's also a big Easter egg hunt. I like finding the hidden Mickeys throughout the park. Another little scavenger hunt is finding the 3 fortune tellers. If you bring quarters with you, they'll print out your fortune on a card, and that's the best souvenir money can buy. Sci-fi author Ray Bradbury and Walt were good friends, and this tree represents their friendship in Frontierland. It's even more impressive at night. Now, this isn't going to appear on any brochure for Disneyland, but a lot of people like to spread their loved ones' ashes throughout the park. Maybe they think what made them happy in life will make them happy in death. On a more chipper note, if you see a sign that says Magic Key, find a cast member and ask them what it's all about. They might just give you a card that only Magic Key holders are supposed to receive. I'm not a key holder, so yay for me.
There are at least 3 spots in Disneyland that trick your eye using atmospheric perspective. Warmer colors on the bottom fade into lighter colors on top, making objects appear bigger than they actually are. There's something called pin trading, where people swap Disney pins on a value scale between each other, taking the collector world to a new level. My time in the magic has ended for today. Bursting with joy and love, I go through the looking glass into reality. But the park is always waiting to have me back. So long for now.
I encourage you all to come to Griffith Park. It's a gem in Los Angeles. Sit on a bench and get inspired.